An asshole. This town's carnival is starting to look a little iffy. I'm thinking of closing up shop so I can get a gift for my wife and return to her in my village. I've heard that a stone called the Moonsteer shines brighter than any other in the land. If you've got one, I'd really like to get it from you. My wife would love it. If you give it to me, I'll give you my spot here, Deku flower included. Seems like a really shitty deal, but you know what? Here you go. Oh, it's done. You must hand it over to me. In exchange, I'll give you my spot here. Deku flower included, yes. You trade the Moonsteer for the land title deed. Awesome. You really helped me out. Now I have a perfect souvenir for my wife. She hasn't set eyes on a jewel or strange sparkling stone like this in a very long time. The title deed for this spot should be in high demand among Deku Scrubs, but you already know that. If you don't need it anymore, you can always come back and sell it. Or you can always sell it. Obviously I'm not going to sell it, but I do want that piece of heart. That'd be nice. And also, how the fuck did he get those 3 bags out of that flower? And how can he carry them? That's the other question that I have. Can I go in the flower? Thanks. God. You got a piece of heart. Collect 4 pieces of heart to assemble a new heart container. Each new heart container you put together will increase the amount of life energy you can have. Awesome. The door to the clock tower opens only once a year at midnight, on the eve of the carnival. I know, thank you. So we have about 12 hours left in game time. So, I guess I can take this time to just talk about random shit. Games that I'll be playing after I beat this one, probably The Wind Waker. I'll probably jump right into The Legend of Zelda The Wind Waker, because as far as I know, that's the next installment other than Game Boy and DS games, which I don't like, so I will be playing The Wind Waker. And also I have no means of recording any of that shit, so I'm sure that I could buy a cable that lets me record that, but I don't really want to, because the Game Boy games are kind of shitty in my opinion. The Wind Waker's a pretty long game though. I'm not gonna lie. So I'll probably take a little bit of time after this game to kind of finish DMC4 and possibly No Kuni, depending on how far along I am in that. But a funny thing with DMC4 is I deleted one of my recordings by accident before I could upload it, which sucks. So I have to get back up to up to episode 7 or level 7, whatever you want to call it, because I saved on like 14 or 15 or some shit. So I can't just go back to 7 that I know of. Well, I could, but it'd be different. It'd be weird. I'll check it out. I'll see what it looks like if I go back like that, and if all the cutscenes and shit are the same. Obviously, I'll have different weapons and I'll be more OP, but that doesn't really matter because I suck at that game anyway. I'll check it out to see what that's like, and I'll probably record that either later today, depending on how long I record this for. So, Ni no Kuni's almost out of footage though, which kind of sucks. I should probably really record that pretty soon as well. And sadly, my Final Fantasy II game does not allow me to pass a certain part because it just goes like techno screen and has 4 boxes randomly, and it doesn't let me go through. It just freezes, and it's kind of shitty. The reason behind that is actually the disc itself is scratched, but Final Fantasy I worked perfectly, and there's no problems. It's only scratched in an area that affects Final Fantasy II. And my brother has a disc doctor. I don't really trust disc doctors because the idea behind them is what they actually do is, since there's a scratch in the disc, you can't just fill in the scratch. You can, but you can't just fill it in. What the disc doctor actually does is it sands down the plastic layer of your disc. Are you fucking kidding me? I have to wait another like 6 hours? Anyway, it sands down the actual plastic part of the disc, and if you don't know how a disc works, there's the label. There's underneath the label where all the information is actually stored, and then there's a plastic layer that protects that layer of information. And what a scratch does is basically when the laser hits the scratch, it bounces off and refracts off of all the little parts of the... It's like holding two mirrors together. The laser bounces off the mirrors, and it sends back the wrong information, so it can't read past that point. So depending on how big the scratch is, it fucks over more of it. So, what the disc doctor does is it sands down that plastic layer, since that's not actually where the information is stored, and it buffs out the scratch so it doesn't refract as much off of the scratch itself, and allows the game to be read a little bit easier. But another solution that I have, which I trust a lot more, I mean, my disc is fucked as it is anyway, so I'm gonna try the disc doctor thing, because there's no point of not, since I can't do anything with the disc anyway now. I'm in a certain part, and I can't get past it without just buying a new game. So, I will try that, if at all possible, in the near future. But the other solution I have is one of my brother's friends actually has Final Fantasy Origins, which is the game that I have to play Final Fantasy 2 off of. So if I can borrow his disc, that'd be awesome. Because if you don't know how games work, which it's pretty simple, the disc itself is what allows the game to be read, and it puts the information into the console, but the memory card is where all the saves are. So all that it would be doing is putting a new disc in the console and picking off of where I last saved, so I wouldn't have to redo anything, which would be awesome. But I don't know when he would be able to give me the disc. I would only need it for like a week, to be honest. The game itself is probably like 2 or 3 recording sessions away from being done. So, Final Fantasy 2 is a pretty short game, if you haven't guessed. But also, I have a lot of time to wait for that disc, because I haven't even started uploading Final Fantasy 2 yet. Probably by the time this is uploaded, I won't even be uploading that, because I haven't finished uploading Final Fantasy 1. And I only upload 2 episodes of Final Fantasy 1 a day, and then 2 of something else, and then 2 of something else. That's kind of how my recording and uploading schedule is. I record like 2 or 3 times a week. So, sometimes I don't even record for a week, because I have so much stuff, like, backed up. And now the clock tower is actually opening, which is good. I'm glad. Didn't have to wait for as long as the first time, because the first time I didn't know you could use the scarecrow to dance and stuff. Don't stop now, look! You can get up there now. As the timer counts down. Of course. Dot 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 dot. Why the fuck are you flipping my ocarina like that, man? If that thing drops, it's broken. Sis. Ah, tell. We've been looking for you, too. Hey, Skull Kid. What if you gave that mask you're wearing back now? Hey, come on. Are you listening? Swamp, mountain, ocean, canyon. Hurry, the 4 who are there, bring them here. Wow, that was rude. Just fucking backfist the shit out of the fairy. Don't speak out. Or don't speak out of line, stupid fairy. No, what are you doing? To my brother. Skull Kid. Do you still think you are our friend after that? Awesome. Well, whatever. Even if they were to come now, they wouldn't be able to handle me. Hee. Just look above you. If it's something that can be stopped, then just try to stop it. That's a pretty noise. I missed? Fuck. There we go. That's all we need. You got the Ocarina of Time. Princess Zelda gave this to you, or gave you this precious instrument. Press blah 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 blah. Suddenly, memories of Princess Zelda has come rushing back to you. I don't know if we had to learn a song before we came here. I might have fucked myself over. You are already leaving this land in Hyrule, aren't you? Even though it was only a short time, I feel like I've known you forever. I'll never forget the days we spent together in Hyrule. And I believe in my heart that a day will come when I shall meet you again. Until that day comes, please take this. I am praying that your journey be safe, or be a safe one. If something should happen to you, remember this song. It's like the most awkward thing using an analog stick to use the C directions. I like how Zelda's still like the most useless or useful person in the game. This melody lingers in the edges of your mind in the song of memories of Princess Zelda. Okay. So she gave us the one song in the game that actually does everything in the game. The Goddess of Time is protecting you. If you play the Song of Time, something happens. Sure. Snap out of it. What are you doing? Lost in memories? Get yourself together. Get that old ocarina back. Isn't it gonna help us? Somebody, anybody. Goddess of Time. Help us, please. We need more time. So now what we have to do is we have to take out our fucking handy-dandy ocarina. Huh? When did you get that instrument? Yeah, I don't understand it either. Fuck. I don't understand how his ocarina turns into a fucking, like, something. What would you even call that? It's like a whole bunch of tubas, pretty much. But really messed up tubas. Save and return to the dawn of the first day. Yes. So back in time we go. Dawn of the first day. 72 hours remain. So now I'm sure people are